The following is for entertainment purposes only. We are not financial advisors. We are not responsible for any losses, only the profits.
What's happening, Aqua Nation? We're taking a look at another merger that happened today in the SPAC world. Ticker PANA, merging with an oncology company. What is that? Does anyone know what oncology means? Nuvation Bio. Let's take a look. Nuvation Biothermics. What is it? Tackling the greatest unmet needs in oncology. Experienced biotech leadership team led by David Hung, which successfully developed major oncology drugs, including Extandia, a $3.7 billion in sale 2019 is how much that one sold. So that's good. That guy's got a massive track record. And Talazina, anyone heard of those? Broad and validated wholly owned pipeline with strong IP protection. Up to 6 INDs in 6 years. I don't even know what that means. I don't think most of you will either. Leveraging the improved upon validation drug mechanisms, best in class profiles and competitors. It's great. Team, bulletproof. It's got all the brands you want on there, right? Johnson and Johnson. That's the only one I've heard of. Not big on the medical field, but let's take a look at the pipeline of multiple oncology indicators. Preclinical. So what are they trying to fight? High-grade glioma, metastatic brain tumors. I know what the brain tumors are. Acute leukemia, pancreatic cancer. So this is like a cancer tumor play. Wow. So preclinical, this means not 100% ready, but getting there. But we're looking at Q1 2021. And then past that, everything is looking for 2022, year 2022. But looking at brain tumors and more studies and prostate cancer, breast cancer, man. I hope they're able to cure it all. At least make it way better. That'd be cool. The driver's resistance to CDK4/6 inhibitors. What does all that mean? Does anyone know? Tumors respond to KDK4/6 inhibitor by signaling through CDK2 driving resistance. Selectively targeting CDK2 in addition to CDK4/6 may prevent reverse resistance. So stopping tumor growth signals and slowing it down. That's good. They're showing here that versus plasma, so they're going against the plasma way. They are 12x, 12 multiplier higher exposure in the brain versus going with the plasma route. That's a big number. 12xing that, that's very big. Beyond primary brain tumors, additionally, opportunities in tumors which metastasize to brain. Breast, colon, melanoma, solid tumors in pancreas, lung cancer, leukemia. Hey, it looks like, this is like a total improvement play, right? They're like, we can make the stuff work better and faster, an alternative to plasma. That's great. They're showing with their treatment here, deep tumor reductions observed in their resistant patient-derived xenograft prostate model. So this is them over here, the NUV422 isomolamide. It's doing good. If they can help out any of those, it's a fantastic drug conjugate DD platform. All right, here we go. Is a revolutionary advanced beyond ADCs. So they got an antibody drug conjugate. Antibody drug conjugates improves therapeutic index versus untargeted warhead. They don't have to use IV. They don't have to do limited to cell surface targets. And they don't have to do complex and expensive manufacturing. What they do accomplish for drug conjugates, tissue selective targeting improves. Okay, so they can hone in on stuff. Therapeutic index versus untargeted warhead. Oral, take it orally, I guess. Binds intracellular and cell membrane targets. Highly cell permeable and simple and inexpensive to manufacture. That's good. So they can be more precise with it. It's easier to get it. It's less expensive. That's great. Drug conjugates are designed to bind to 2 different targets simultaneously. Okay, that's good. Nuvation Bio has created drug conjugates that target AR and PARP. 2 separate drugs, 2 separate targets. Limparza and Extandia, that's what they're calling it. Okay. Exploits low AR expression in known sites of PARP-related toxicity, bone marrow, and GI tract. Enables large therapeutic indexes, no AR expression in gut or bone marrow, the organs associated with the PARP toxology. Looks good. So all types of cancer, everything. DDC potentially kills prostate cancer, is resistant to current standards of care. Wow, that's a very bold statement right there. Fantastic. It looks like they've got proof of it all too. Current approved PARP inhibitor have higher efficiency in HR deficient versus HR proficient tumors. The only potentially curative procedure for prostate cancer is surgical prostatectomy / radiation ablation. The side effects of the standard of care: erectile dysfunction, urinary and feces incontinence, invasive surgical risk for sure. So I'm guessing they're saying they don't have to do that. So what is it? I don't get it. What is it? 600,000 men annually. Man, that's crazy. So you've got to deal with the surgery, the radiation, all the other side effects here. Is this like a pill you take or what? Non-approved therapies that they have. That's what I want to know. Is it a pill? I don't know. Use prostate-specific DDC to achieve a nerve blood vessel sparring, pharmacological prostanomy, no cell killing of healthy nerves or blood vessels. Okay, so I think anything's probably going to be better than radiation treatments, right? Man, it just kills everything, including muscle and everything else. Potentially allows men to avoid surgical radiation. That's great. Has the potential to kill prostate cancer with unprecedented specificity, sparring blood vessels and nerve cells. So what do they do? Like a radiation gun, but not. ER protein expression is limited to female sex organs. Low expression in sites of PARP-related toxicity. Enables larger therapeutic index. Low ER expression in gut or bone marrow, the organs associated with the PARP toxicity. It seems like just like a way better way to treat all this, right? It's safer, but how do they do it? Potentially kills both. Breast cancer is without killing healthy gut tissue. It seems like a pill to me, right? Lynparza, olaparib, totally branded out, and they're calling it the NUV 1176. Does anyone have a background in this? NUV 868 is a more selective BD2 inhibitor. BD2 inhibitors have historically targeted BD1, BD2, and non-selectively causing the GI toxicity to go bad. The inhibitor can improve tolerability, but has been difficult to achieve. But again, they're saying with their stuff that you don't have to. Inhibitors have the potential to block many oncogenes, including CMYC. Wow. Preclinical anti-tumor activity in AML modules. I'm not going to act like for a second I know what they're talking about here. But other than the fact it looks good, they're saying after a couple of days, things are getting better. Fantastic. The inhibitor overview, tumor death. That's what we want. Get rid of tumors, right? Inhibitors force tumors to replicate damaged DNA before it can be repaired. That's interesting. So they're replicating damaged DNA. They're cloning it. Okay, so they're saying that if they're going to replicate the bad DNA, then it will cause tumor death, right? That's crazy. So, like one cell gets killed and it starts killing other cells. Arrest their own replication, yeah. Giving them the time to fix their damaged DNA, then turn off their own WEE1 tumor growth. WEE1 inhibitors may potentiate any therapy that causes DNA damage, chemotherapy or radiation. Crazy. Promise of existing WEE1 inhibitors limited by safety. Ovarian cancer, uterine serious problems, pancreatic cancer. Wow, healthy, potent, and selective equals less toxicity. So they're less toxic than other compounds out there. PLK1 is a ubiquitous cell kinase that may be responsible for gut and bone marrow toxicity. 10x reduction potency on rat gut cells relative suggests these new compounds have significantly improved tolerability. Strong synergy with standard care genomedicine radiation. In vivo exograft tumor model ongoing. Upcoming catalysts. They're still submitting, a lot of these out, right? Even some aren't even getting submitted till 2022. Initiate phase 1 in brain tumor stuff. First patient in phase 1 GBM study beginning of next year, right? So right away I'm thinking, that this is one that it might not do very well until they get something back that proves that, like after one of these studies, that they're having great success, or they could have bad success, which will make it go down even further. But other than this first one here, we don't have anything until 2022 where they're submitting stuff. It's great though. I mean, I hope it helps people broaden and validate a wholly owned pipeline with strong IP protection. Up to 6 INDs in 6 years, multiple drug-led candidates addressing large markets and blockbuster drug sales potential, leveraging and improving upon validation drug mechanisms focused on the best-in-class profiles versus competitors. So they get it. Company with more than $850 million in cash resources, enabling a world-class drug development team to rapidly pursue clinical development of multiple portfolio therapeutic candidates. So they got the cash now. They're going to go run and spend it. That's good, as long as they can come up with some here. So 850 pro forma cash, 500 million equity financing concurrent with the business combination, including 25 million forward purchase agreement, 20 million committed by David Hung, founder and CEO of Nuvation, 144 million in cash and trust, 239 million in the cash and balance sheet of Nuvation, pre-money equity value at 1.5 billion. I think it's the new target for every SPAC now, right? 1.5 billion. Voting rights. David Hung, founder and CEO of Nuvation, will receive 100% of Class B common stock, having an approval right on any proposed change in control transaction. I don't blame him for wanting that. David Hung will have the right to appoint 3 directors plus at least 50% of any directors beyond 7. Could be a lot of directors, don't you think? So David's going to have 27% of the company. Panacea investors are going to have 8%, equity finance investors 22, existing Nuvation shareholders 42. It's pretty close to average-ish. Enterprise value, again, getting close to 1.5 bill. So it looks like they're basically coming together then with Nuvation Bio and Panacea. So you add them together and they've got all these extra brands, strong institutional investor support on both ends, BlackRock, Fidelity, proven management team, best in class therapies, multiple advances for growth, strong balance sheet. T. Rice, looks good. And then it's going to go over Panacea's management. I mean, look at all the brands they're working with. Holy Toledo. We're looking at history of picking winners. This is slightly interesting here. They're just showing that cumulative growth versus the S&P 500 for the Eco R1, which is something that they founded in 2013, has gone up 866% since then. It did take a year to go up 200%, which is still good. March 13th, so less than a year, it went up 200%. And then another year, it went up almost 200 more percent. So that's kind of good. That kind of shows that even though we might not have a ruled out progression showing that something is totally working, we could still get a run up because people get excited about, drug companies coming out with this stuff. Nuvation raised 433 million total to return 14.3 billion. So again, this is I think the previous company I worked with. Okay, the most successful biotech SPAC in history. In 2004, merged with Orion Account Corp II at a market cap of 3 million. Wow, it's trading at like, I don't even know, 39 cents a share. Okay. But see, this one took 4 years till it hit, let's call it $5 ish. But I guess if you do the math on that, you're definitely multiplying your money. 39 cents to $5. I wouldn't mind being in that ride. But then it's showing, over time, the thing is now ended up selling to Pfizer, but before that it was trading at like $60 almost. $60 a share, so, and that's the Xantania brand sales. And Pfizer ended up buying them for 14.3 billion. So they've got a history of dealing with this. That's kind of cool. So if you guys know me, you're gonna know what I'm thinking here. That again, it's kind of sketchy, right? This seems like a top tier group of people and companies that could and hopefully can devise something that's really going to be helping people. It sounds like they're on track, but again, I don't really like depending on stocks that are dependent on, even though they have maybe like 5 they're working on, depending on those getting, even if they can prove it, getting an approval for it. If they don't get the FDA approval, then it's worthless anyway. And I just don't really like this sector. I mean, this is one that you could long-term play on it if you can get it cheap enough, and here I am looking at this chart like, yeah, I mean, if I could get this for 39 cents, I'd like to ride that boat up to 50 all day long, or even to $5, but, we don't know the valuation when it was back here and all that, but I guess I had a market cap of only 3 million then. So now we're dealing with a market cap of what, 1.5 billion? So, I don't know. The team seems good. It's just kind of sketchy. Just kind of sketchy the neighborhood it's in. I like that, they previously have been successful. They've got a good team. I like obviously what they're doing. Hopefully they can make stuff a little bit better. If we could totally stop having to use the radiation and stuff. Radiation is terrible it's good because it helps some people, but it's bad. It hurts a lot of people. It kills a lot of people too. So if we can figure out a better way to do that, I'm all for it. I just don't know if I want to park money into it. So what happened? Here's the other thing we got to learn. Okay, this thing, the comments got released September 11th. So like a month and a week ago. And look how fast they already announced. So we got to keep that in mind. A lot of these SPACs are announcing super fast. So just because something's been out a month doesn't mean it's not going to release. And they haven't been talking before the SPAC started. But regardless, this thing did pop up to, let's call it like 11, somewhere around there. And it kind of stayed there, which is kind of odd to me. This is one of those SPACs, I have no idea who they are, but I'm sure because I looked it up in the past and it probably said healthcare, and I was like, nope. So I didn't keep it on my radar, but I'm surprised that regardless, this was trading around 11. Yeah, because even on October 5th, it was trading around $11. So what happened after announcement? It just fizzled out, down to 10.50. I don't know. I think any of our viewers have a better understanding of this sector, exactly what we're dealing with here. Are we missing a big gold mine? I think eventually, but I don't know. Is somewhere I'm going to be parking my money tomorrow? No. It's something I'll pay attention to, though. Now that that's the point of like this video, is because now we have kind of a backbone. If we hear about the company, Panancia Acquisition Corp, we can remember this and reference it, and at least have a decent idea. If we get some news come out that, a new trial's coming out, and they're about to find out from the FDA or something like that, you're probably going to get a run up. These usually run up right before something like that is announced, but this exact timing, I don't see any real short-term catalyst. But you never know; they could come out with something real quick. So, anyone already in this? Did you jump in right away? It's the first time you heard about it. What do you think? You can be jumping in. Any other plays you want me to take a look at? Put them down in the comments. If you haven't subscribed, please do it. We also have a Patreon if you want to join that. It really helps out the channel. Y'all have a good rest of the day. Take care.
Did you know that we give away free silver? Simply leave a comment on the video, and as long as you're in the continental United States, you can be automatically entered to win. Please friend us on Twitter and StockTwits.